Hello everyone, my name is Marilena Chirculete and I'm a teacher of English at Shakespeare School. I'll be discussing today the IELTS academic writing paper, specifically Task 1, which most of my students find the most challenging. Why? Well, take a look for yourselves. In Task 1 you get visual input and a specific task, which is usually predictable. For example, you would get discuss the main trends and describe what the graph shows by also comparing the main features. This is usually it. No fancy words. So you should be able to understand the task, but what do you do with the actual information contained in the graph? Well, this is just an example of a graph. You could also have bar graphs and pie charts, but I'll let you discover them on your own. You could also have to describe a process. Now, in a process, it's important that you master the passive voice. You need to be able to say what, for example, cement was packed in, or how it was delivered to the heating system, for instance. So passive voice, highly important in process description. And then, one of my favorite tasks, I would have to say, would be describing maps. Here is where you need to describe the changes that have occurred over time. Now, you don't see it here, but the tasks, the visual input is color-coded, and you also have numbers and years to guide you through the visual input. So I would expect that once you have been exposed to enough visual input of IELTS type, you will be able to make your way through it. Perhaps the challenge will be to actually write the text. How long is it, you might ask, or how long should it be? Well, the minimum is 150 words. Not too much, not too little, but enough to get you perhaps a little edgy about it. So what do? First, you introduce the graph. What do I mean by that? Imagine that you are the only one who can see the visual input and you're describing it to people who cannot see it at all. So picture your examiner as blind. That's what introducing the graph means. Being as precise as possible about what it shows. Not too specific and not too general either. And that's where the next step comes in. You have a choice. Give an overview or give detail. Which one would you start with? Of course, give an overview. After you've introduced the graph, exactly what it shows, you want to provide some analysis on it. And that's the heftiest part of your text. Giving the overview means that you discuss the most obvious trends, the most important processes, the most visible changes. And then you move on to the detailed part, which would be the last part of your text, in which you go into the nitty-gritty, so to speak, of each visual. You would want there to consider also the medium values of your line graphs, or perhaps the more not so important parts of the process. And of course, the details of the changes that occurred in the maps. Now, all of this in 150 words minimum. Not an easy task, and if I were you, I wouldn't go over 200 words. Good luck with your IELTS practice. Don't go in the exam without having solved at least 2 tasks of each type first. Thank you very much for watching. Have a nice day.